Hi everyone, it's Joe with Sharp Eye for Coins, and today we're going to talk about another commemorative coin. It came up because the Big Show had directed us to Ken Peavy's video on fakes. It surprised me a little bit because that video featured this coin that I just picked up not long ago, and it made me panic a little bit. I wondered if I had made a good choice in picking this one up, but I'm sure I did. But I did have to run, and I had to check some of the telltale signs more closely. So I'm happy I did, though, because it gave me another look at this coin. And this is a really nice, aesthetically pleasing coin, in my opinion. And it's funny how times change when you look at the history of this coin, because when this first came out, the collectors bought it up, but the public really didn't like it, and the U.S. Mint ultimately had a hard time selling them. So let's talk about that. So in 1925, this New York company, called itself the Oregon Trail Memorial Association, led by this Dumbledore look-alike, Ezra Meeke. They asked Congress to authorize, a $50 to commemorate all those who had traveled west on the trail. Now, Meeke had traveled the trail about a half a century earlier, and he thought that the United States citizens were forgetting it. He wanted to memorialize the trail, and he went back to it and ran through the trail, and he wanted to put monuments up, at certain distances. Congress agreed and allowed the minting of 6 million of these coins. So they got James Fraser and Laura Fraser, they're married, to do the design. Now, Laura had already designed some commemoratives, and you probably know James, right? Because he did the obverse on the Buffalo nickel. So they're pretty famous folks. In another stream, I'll talk about some of what I've learned about the artists of the day, which is so fun researching. But for now, let's look at this obverse. Okay, now I call this obverse. It looks like a reverse, right? But this is the obverse. The designers intended this to be the reverse, and it shows this ox-drawn carriage, right, heading into the setting sun. In God we trust there, and we have Oregon Trail Memorial and the date. Now, I think the best part of this coin is probably what the public at the time thought was the worst part, because you have this really proud looking Native American, with a bow in front of a map of the country with his hand out. Now, my research shows that this was kind of meant to be, represent like the pain and strife that the natives had with the incessant immigration of the white man. So based on that, I think you can guess why a lot of people in the 20s didn't like this coin. Now, I also know that there were a lot of Native American support groups at this time. So they weren't all, against the Native American population, right? But, this is a pretty striking and progressive coin. So you do the math and the numbers, right? Anyway, so 1926, there you are. 48,000 coins get struck in Philly. Initially, get sold mostly by collectors. Now, so that caused them to strike another issue in San Francisco, and they ordered more, right? And it seems like it's, in high demand. But the population at large didn't really take on to it. So somehow, even that the Treasury knew that there were unsold coins, more were printed. Now, a lot of people think, and maybe it's true, that it was I shouldn't say Dumbledore. Ezra Meeke was putting pressure on the Treasury. I don't know what the ties were. I mean, it would be interesting to see what that was. Like how, who did he know that was putting pressure on the Treasury? But 50,000 more coins were minted in 28. And there were a lot of coins from 26 melted. Okay. So we've lost quite a few coins along the way, and they knew that they weren't selling, and yet that association pushed the Treasury to authorize minting again in 1933, this time at Denver. It's cool because it's the first time a commemorative coin was struck in Denver. And so that's a really cool first, but you know, it was still unpopular. They tried to sell these at the Century of Progress Expo for $2 a pop, but people didn't want to buy them, so they ended up offloading them to a New York company called Scott Stamp and Coin, who couldn't even sell a quarter of what they had. I mean, the rest of these went to melt, and yet still, somehow, in 1934, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39, each year this coin was minted. Now, all in all, though, out of the 6 million that were authorized, only just a little bit above 202 survived. Like 60,000 were melted. So if you find this coin, okay, listen, 1926 is the most common, all right? Not always in this grade. This is a good grade. I'm going to send this to PCGS. But if you get your hands on a 1939, pick it up. It's a great coin. It's very desirable. Only 3,000 were struck from each mint. So that would be a nice pickup. So anyway, there's a lot of cool things to remember in this coin. I know this video was a little bit long. I'm sorry, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you the next time. All right, for now, Sharp Eye for Coins is out.